Hey, welcome to the show, good people. Today is a beautiful day, wonderful day, and it's time for your midweek, midday motivation. Wednesdays at 1. Joining me today, as always, is my co-host, good friend, Mr. Rob House.
What's up, people? Everything is good, man. Since I get this light, we'll go the right way. Everything's gonna
At
be
least you got a light. Some people just be in the dark, in the shadow, trying to figure it out.
we talk about
Light
we talk about shine that light, man, on the inside of us, right?
on the inside.
Inside. Speaking
Yes,
of light,
indeed.
and we did a song together too, man. You shot the music video for "I Need the Light," didn't you?
Yeah, that was
that
the jam right there. That was the jam.
was it. Go to YouTube, look that up, guys. I Need
Yep.
the Light.
Rob House, I need the light.
So yeah,
In 2020, what, 2015, 2016, we did that?
it's
Something like that. A
16.
while ago, yeah.
Yeah. Here it is, man. Mindset, ready, grow. The power of introspection.
Mm-hmm.
Inspect the deck. You know what that means? Inspect the deck. Inspect the deck. You know what that means? That really meant like literally, I'm gonna come check the deck to see if you did it. So you better go inspect it. Okay.
Right.
You better review it and look at it again. So you're taking a look at the deck before the people come and look at the deck. That's kind of how you want to look at your deck. Take a look at it a second time, right? Go back. Intentionally is what we're really talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
Be intentional.
Yep. And if you guys had a chance, we had a guest lined up. They had to cancel, unfortunately, so we changed the show last minute. But it's going to be still a great show. A lot to talk about with self, the power of introspection. And one thing we are talking about before the show was just as the title, as the description says, take a look at yourself to see others more clearly. Once you get to see yourself and see your actions, then you might be able to open up to understand, why is this the situation that you're in with somebody that you're maybe a coworker with, or somebody you're residing with. Could be your child or your spouse or our parents, our in-laws. And we all have conflicts sometimes. People get on our nerves, but the trick is to see the actions that I've taken, to have ownership of those actions, and to reevaluate where I'm at, my stance, my point of view, my disposition, that we can bring about peace, because in peace comes change.
Peace.
So we're all about change, grow, mindset ready, grow. Is to change your mindset to get you set and ready so that you can grow and go and do so much more. There you
Grow
go.
so you can do so much more. Come on, man.
Had to put this thing in there, but it worked. All right, so you got your point list, right? We got a nice little point list here. We got 10 points we're going to share with you guys today. 10 of them. If you guys are taking notes, this is the time to get your pads out, get your iPhones or whatever, bring up your Evernote or whatever you use, because it's about to get down. We're getting ready to dig in. So go ahead, Rob. You said your first point was self-reflection, right?
All right. So when we're talking about introspecting, and we may not get to all 10, but
Yeah.
when let's talk about the first thing to do to begin introspecting. Like, so how do we do that? How do we take a look at ourselves? Because we know we should. We know we should. Okay, well, what the heck can we do to do that? So here's some things that can put you in alignment to be able to take a look at yourself.
Mm-hmm,
One, journal. Like journaling. That's the number one. Journaling, man. I think I got it in here somewhere too. Boom. Yep. There it is. I mean, why is this very powerful? Number one, if you're trying to understand like how you're feeling, by taking out of your mind, put it in front of your eyes, gives you a different perspective on it. Okay? Taking it out of your mind and putting it in front of your eyes gives you another perspective on it. It's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. Sometimes you gotta remove yourself from the game, and now you get a different frame. Wait a minute.
Now things are changing; they don't look the same.
Now they
There
don't
you
look
go.
the same, man. And it's real.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about journaling? And have you used this in as a practice? And and if so, has it been effective?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Leave that in the comments. Excuse me. Even if you're watching this in the recast later on, make sure you still leave us those comments. We do come back and check. We want to see how you guys using journaling. Me personally, I do a lot of writing. Period. Just in what I do for work and things, and I'm always noticing that the first time you put something down, you come back and read it, something has changed. Rather the way you feel about it, the way you now interpret that data. You say, wait, that's not my intention, or hey, let me do this a little differently. So journaling is a great way to come back and say, I felt today that this was the situation that happened to me. And you go back tomorrow and read that and you say, you know what? That's so silly. I felt that way because, 2 hours later after I wrote this down, I realized that wasn't the situation at all. And wow, now I can even see why I might have had that perspective, but it's not the perspective I need to have. And clearly I see that even having that thought is a step towards that change.
Mm-hmm.
You might not change right away. Tomorrow you might still make the same mistake, but you're going to make it not as quickly as you did yesterday. You're going to make it at a lesser degree. Instead of going to 100, now you only went to 90. The next time you only go to 80. Eventually you're only going to 20, and pretty soon you're not even moved by those things. So journaling is a great way to kind of reflect on yourself, to kind of speak to yourself. Those words on the page you'll hear the narration as you read it in your voice, or Dr. Spock, or whoever's voice is in your head. You hear those letters being read to you and it speaks to you. So it's a really great way to kind of do that. You can also, you don't necessarily have to write down your journaling either. You can do that recording wise. So if you're just in your car and you just had a fight with your spouse and you're like, I got to get out here to take a drive. Say how you're feeling. Hit your phone, hit record, and say, right now I feel this way. Man, I wish she would do this, and why isn't she doing that? And talk about it. But the key too is go back and listen to it. So maybe you take a half an hour drive talking to your phone, drive back the half an hour listening to what you just said. Yeah. I guarantee you're going to see yourself and say, wow, I'm kind of goofy right now, or you know what, that's not it. It's going to change your disposition. I've done that, and the first thing I do is come in and say, hey, I'm terribly sorry. Man, I'm such a jerk. I listened to what I said and how I felt. I wasn't seeing your side at all. And it makes life a lot better. You get your favorite meal cooked, and you get to control the TV that night. So definitely.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah, journaling. All right, what's number 2?
So, using positive words and phrases. Using positive words and phrases. What the heck does that have to do with introspect?
Yeah.
Well, whatever you say, you will play. You hit the play button. All right, you're gonna actionize it. Yes, that word might have been created, but there are 14 words created every day. You can Google that. So this is what you need to do. You think about the words that you're saying, because whatever you say, it will actionize. You will become some degree. So if you're looking to have a better self-image, then I would check what I say to the self. Hello. Yeah. And what I say about the self.
Absolutely.
Phraseology. What's your phraseology? I remember I had on my phone like a message like, get up, fool. Like as an alarm or something.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, why am I talking to myself that way? Like, and it was not that serious. Somebody would be like, whatever, why are you tripping? Well, I think everything matters. So yes, I am tripping. I know everything is connected. So I know that everything that I do is connected to something else. How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
So watch the words you're saying. Choose the words you want. The words are seeds. Seeds are going into the life. The fruit you will eat, which is the experiences that you have. The seeds, watch what you're planting. Feel me? JC.
Absolutely.
That's it.
There you go. Every second leads to the next second, which adds up to a minute. If we took 1 second away, one seed, we wouldn't have a full minute. We took 1 minute out of an hour, we wouldn't have an hour. So it's the combination of things that make the fullness of things. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like what you're talking about is that one thing you said, hey, wake up, fool. That was a seed. Now, was that a positive seed or a negative seed? We want to fill the cup up with positivity. So when we put a piece of negativity in there, it's negative space, which is like a void. That's how we define a void is negative space, it's absence of space, antimatter, matter, things like that, right? So we're filling this cup up. We don't want any air pockets in there. We want it to be fully, consumed with that liquid, that living water. So the point is that, you want to make sure you say the right things to yourself. You want to be accountable to yourself first and foremost. So we don't want to say things to ourselves like, I'm an idiot, or man, I suck, or man, that was terrible. We want to say things like, I'm perfecting my goodness that I'm trying to produce into this world. Not that I'm, not even that I'm working on it. Working sounds like toil, sounds like energy, sounds like effort, sounds like woo, breaking a sweat. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But if we say I've already achieved something, I've already made some good ground. I'm adding to the goodness that I learned yesterday, the betterment that I've had produced yesterday. Now we're reinforcing that. Now we're staying on that positive track. So we want to eliminate those things from our life. And the key is to right center in that is eliminating negativity. You start with yourself, but then you can start with things around you. It might be even simple as television shows you watch or music you listen to. If it's
Yep.
negative, it's still producing negative energy in your life. It can only produce in its kind.
Only.
Every seed produces of its kind. An apple seed doesn't make bananas. It just
Never.
doesn't happen.
Never happened.
So you have to think about the seed you're sowing to say, I want to reap a harvest of its kind. If I'm going to sow positivity into myself, to others around me, guess what happens? Positivity comes back to you, back to yourself, back to you. The people around you will start to become positive, even if they're negative. Limit that interaction, or at least limit the interaction when it is negative. If they're staying positive, or if you can be positive influence on them, great. But when it starts getting too negative, or when you start finding that it's impacting you negatively, maybe they're loud and going on a lot, you say, hey, you're making me feel that like I want to do that same in response. Hey, I think it's been great seeing you. I have some other things to take and tend to, and separate from that. So we're sowing positive seeds. We're speaking positively to ourselves. What goes in is what's going to come out.
Yeah, what goes in is what's gonna come out. Man, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It also changes what you come out your mouth with. That's kind of strange.
Indeed. You don't get apple juice from grapes. Simple as that.
That's just it.
Is it?
Okay. All right. How about this?
So ask yourself empowering questions. That's the next one. Yep.
Okay.
So how do you guys do that? How do you ask yourself empowering questions, right? So if you're taking notes, ask yourself empowering questions. A sample of that would be, how can I given the chance to go back and change things, maybe that might be a great situation. Given the chance to go back and change things, what would I do differently?
Mm-hmm.
So that's you first reflecting, then coming with new ideas and new concepts.
Yep.
Maybe being out of the moment where stress was on you and it was hectic and it was the last minute you had to make a quick decision. Now you can actually have time to think about it and weigh things out. Why is that empowering? Well, that's empowering because it's letting you see yourself, and it's allowing you to see the situation in a different light.
Yeah.
It's also giving you the ability to fire new neurons and new pathways of your mind to say, let me find a different way to get there. Once it creates that new path, it's in there and you can keep doing it and keep doing it. And it's going to dig deeper and deeper. And now when that pressure comes, you're automatically going to go to that better solution. It's just like throwing a ball. When I was a child and I used to try to play catch, ball hit me in the face and the nose. I couldn't do anything to stop it. Going all crazy. It was just hitting me and beat me up. But eventually, once I caught the ball the first time, I felt, oh, yeah, I did it. Might have hit me in the face second time, but eventually I caught it again. And then I got sticky hands. I couldn't miss the ball. I played football. I was running back. I caught the ball. They give me the ball. I'm gone. But it took time to work that muscle, and the same thing with your mind. So doing that, asking yourself those empowering questions is possible here. Rob's probably got another example, too. That's just my example. But go ahead, Rob.
Well, yeah, it's kind of in alignment with what you're saying. I mean, instead of like, why am I overweight? Ask yourself questions like, what can I do to get in shape? Instead of asking yourself, why is my relationship this way? Ask yourself, what can I do to make the relationship better? What can I do to contribute to what? The question is what? When they do improvs, it's all about adding on a yes. Always a yes, no matter what. Yes, yes, of course. Yes, yes, yes. And it just continues and continues and continues. Yes, yes, yes. The moment you say no, it's over. Sorry.
That thing that's coming to me right now is thinking about it in terms of an open or closed door. Is the way I see this thing, or the questions I'm asking, is that closing doors or is it opening the door? So ask the open door question. Sometimes you get a job and they say, we have an open door policy, or my door is always open. You come and talk to me. Let's do that. Let's have an open door policy with ourselves. Let's talk about
Dang.
Am I closing a door when I say this? Like, why is my relationship this way? You're closing a door saying it's troubling, it's disturbing. Maybe there's no solution. Maybe we should just end it. Or the difference, like you said, the open door question is we have some challenges, but what can we do to make it better?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how can I see this differently so that I'm not closing the door on this, but I'm opening up for room to growth in myself or for my spouse or whoever that is, right? Let's continually working on that growth in a situation of weight loss. Maybe not looking at yourself and saying, I'm not comfortable with the way that I look or how I feel. Open your mind up to say, hey, what could I do every day that just makes me feel a little bit better about myself?
Mm.
What kind of change can I bring forth? Because even if I don't lose the weight, do I feel good about me?
Good about
Am I
me.
okay with me? Am I okay with my choices? And pretty soon, if you start taking care of yourself,
Self.
you start saying, hey, I made a better choice. Then tomorrow, that choice might be, I'm going to eat the asparagus instead of the macaroni and cheese. I'm going to get that. And then
Mm-hmm.
you'll make better choices and you do these things. And then you'll start to see, hey, I've lost 5 pounds. I wasn't even trying. Wow, I just took more stock in who I was and opened doors up to be more comfortable with myself in any light. And then things will start to shift.
Mm-hmm.
So, sowing those seeds, we talked about that, speaking positively and asking yourself empowering questions. Open the door, don't close the door.
Open the door. Keep the door open. You know,
Yeah.
always keep the door open. That way you can stay open and you can keep moving. What, what,
What's your next one?
what you have one there, or I got which one do you have next?
I have focus on the good for just a little bit longer. That's
Okay,
that's nice. Yeah, hold on to that goodness. Like
just a
keep that
little bit
sunshine.
longer.
Yeah.
Just a little bit longer. That's a one to think about. You know, a little bit longer. Sometimes our impulse has us react, and we immediately get sucked into the negative flow.
Mhm.
But if we could just held on to the good a little bit longer, found the positive, looked a little bit longer, because I've done this and it's worked, where I could have flipped out, but I just held it just a little bit, found just the good that I could find in the moment, and before you knew it, the pain subsided and it got better. It actually got better.
Mhm.
It's like looking for the good leads you toward the good. And sometimes you just got to remind yourself, you know what? We're not going to have a pity party because nobody's coming but you.
Yeah. It's party of one.
It's party of one over here. And nobody wants those parties, right? So yeah, man.
Yeah, and how do we hold on to that good a little bit longer? How do we keep that sunshine around? We simply say, you know, either things aren't as bad as they seem or that things are gonna get better.
Things are gonna
So
get
I, I
better.
I found myself in situations that seemed just like my life was over, like really crazy things. Maybe some of you have had that. You've been sick, diagnosed with something, loss of a loved one or something, and you say, I just can't deal with this. But I want you to remember this, right? There was a time where things weren't that way. They just weren't that way. And so if we know that things change, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were once 2 years old, 5, 10, 15, 35 years old.
Yep.
You change and evolve. They're not going to stay this way either. Storms come, but they pass over. And so, whatever that situation is, there's joy around the corner. And just thinking about that joy around the corner, just remembering when there was joy and how things kind of shifted now, but knowing they're going to turn back around, you're instantly going to have a little bit more light in your life. You're going to instantly feel a little bit better. You're going to feel a little relief. You're going to stand a little taller, hold your head up, take
Yeah.
a deeper breath than you did before. And that air comes in, man, it changes everything. And that's how we can hold on to the light a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Looking at old photos and remembering things and say, this is the reason why I've done these things or gone through these things, because the people around me and the effort that I put forward and the blessing it is to their life or whatever. You right. So find those good things, those good moments, those pieces of peace.
Man.
Yeah. And you'll have that sunlight just a little bit longer. It's enough to get you through to even start to, once that light peers in, you start to see more in that
Mm-hmm.
darkness that you didn't know was there. It's I want to say it's opening that window. Now we've opened the door, we've opened the window, starting to get some circulation going back. Life is restoring, right?
Life is restoring, man. Life is restoring.
So another way of getting to a good place of self introspection, or at least an avenue for that, is get outside, man. Take a walk.
Mm,
You
that's
take a walk and you start to let your mind go, and you start to see the trees and feel the breeze and start to lose yourself. You start to connect with the world around you. And in most cases, that's peaceful. Now, if you live in downtown Manhattan or back streets of Harlem, it might not be as peaceful, but
right.
still get out and try to take a walk, right? You find a
Mm-hmm.
spot to go to Central Park,
Central
go
Park.
somewhere and take a walk. Yeah, there you go. And find a place that is peaceful and take a walk and enjoy that space.
Yeah, taking
Yeah.
taking that walk, man, has been probably one of the single greatest things I've added to my life. Like I started in 2018
Mm.
once my son made me aware of the fact that I could track how many steps I had in a day. And when
Yeah,
he
and when he started, folks, he was 317 pounds.
yeah,
I'm
crazy,
just playing. No, I'm just joking. No. But he just started walking since 2018. Like, this guy's kind of slim now. It worked.
half the man I
Yeah.
was, man.
You have to be.
You know, and when RJ showed me that, when he showed me the steps, I was like, "This thing counts your steps." I was blown away. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, is it in my pocket?" Like, yeah, I have like 6,000 steps a day. I'm like, wow. Instantly, bam, changed the game. I said, okay, 10,000 steps a day is coming. So I literally just started walking like crazy. And there was a period where I walked for 20,000 steps a day for like almost 4 months. What am I saying here? And when I was walking, I wasn't talking. This is like my prayer meditative, you know, 40 days in the wilderness, you know,
Yeah.
walking 100,000 miles across desert lands. And this is what I was doing to really find myself. Bam! Prime example, see? And it worked because 2018 was the year that everything changed for me. My marriage, the relationship with my children, my
Mhm.
mindset, my perspective, all of that just upgraded. I went like from eighth grade to a freshman in college, you know. And now I'm getting ready to graduate, do it all over again for the next level of life.
For the next level of life.
Next level of life. Gotta walk
Yeah.
though. Gotta walk. Get out there, move. And the blood starts flowing to the body. What people don't realize, when you walk, the blood starts to flow. When the blood flows to the body, it does something to you biochemically, which
Yes.
now makes you more receptive to this introspecting activity.
Right.
Right?
It does something to the muscles. The brain starts to work a little better, and the tension goes away. The distractions go away. That's really kind of a key, is cluttering your mind. And we got this on the screen here. What steps do you take to clear your mind? So take the first step and take a walk. Step out into something new. Step out into a space of peace. And as you hear the birds chirping and you hear the wind in the trees and things, it starts to just do something to you. It just
Mm,
does.
yeah, it's real.
Um, so yeah, take what steps do you take to clear your mind? Start to clear your mind first, clear the clutter, and then new things can come in, new perspectives through this introspection.
New ideas. New ideas.
And the new you can be formed. He said in 2018 his life was transformed just by getting out and taking a break from life and enjoying time. I'll tell you a quick story. This came to my mind. I had a job that was at a desk job, and I used to go out every break. It didn't matter if it was raining or whatever. I went under this one particular tree that was kind of way, way far from the building, from the crowd, and I would just sit there and I would just enjoy that moment, just get that peace of serenity. Sometimes do some prayer meditation time and just think about, you know, this is just a moment in time. I didn't like the job too much, but I
Mm,
know that there's something greater out there. There's more freedom for me. There's more things for me. At the time I was young, I had was kind of afraid to go out on my own, start my own business. But I tell you, because of all that time I went out there and kept sowing that same seed in my mind, one day I'm going to leave this place. One day I'm going to do these things. One day came and I left. And I'm going to tell you a little story about this. What happened was this. So I left the job. I just was sitting at my desk one day and I felt so just buggy, like I was on caffeine high on something. I don't know. I was just buggy. And I just had to leave. I told my manager, I said, I got to leave. I can't sit here today. I got to go. I got to go. And I left. And I thought to myself, well, they fired me. Right, I'm done, because I just walked out. So I didn't even show up the next day or next day. A week went by and somebody reached out to me from the job and they said, do you need some time? you can fill out these forms and you can get some time and you can, stay going. I stayed going for like 30 days or something. They still paid me. They thought I had like a nervous breakdown or something. I don't know what they thought, but they still paid me. And in that 30-day window was enough time for me to have that security of that income.
Yeah.
And I had already started my business. When I left the second day and I didn't come back, I was like, they fired me. This is the time I started working on my business. And within that 7 days, they contacted me, and then I started getting paid to support me while I was starting this business. It was like amazing how those thoughts had just lined up and pushed me towards this goal. And I tell you, I never had a desk job since then. I mean, I work at my own desk, but it's been my own desk, my own company, and I never have turned back. And so I'm thankful for those times. If it wasn't for that pressure that I had at the job to push me to go out there and take those walks and to get outside and to do these things, to let that go, I wouldn't have had those moments of clarity to even imagine, like, this is the business, how it's going to work. I mean, I had a clear vision, and I rehearsed it every day in my mind. And so maybe that's the reason why you get out there and take those walks, just to kind of give yourself that space, that room to grow. Right?
Room to grow. Room to grow. And you said it, space. Space is it, man. Hey, Lauren. Good to see Lauren and Darlene.
Yes, thank you guys for joining us.
What platform is this with the purple?
Twitch.
Okay.
Yep. Hey, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us on Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn. People coming all across the world.
All across. Talking about the power of introspection and what it can do and how it can help a person, that person that is. And by introspecting, you will help yourself grow in the areas of life, all of them. That introspection is like the fertilizer for growth. It allows the marriages to grow.
I want to skip down, since we just came off of this nice little walk. Let's skip down to point number 10 we have on our list, to prayer and meditation. Because that kind of goes in alignment with that walking. Right? So as you're walking, this is not the time to put the headphones on. This is not the time to listen to music. We'll talk about that a little later. There's a time for that, but this is a time for you to kind of just be alone with yourself and your thoughts and begin that prayer meditation process. Talk more about that prayer meditation process.
So prayer and meditation are probably the single most powerful things you can do. I mean, journaling is great, walking is great, all that stuff is really, really great. But that time alone, this is where true introspecting is at its rawest, purest form, because it's just you, or it's just you and God. And the way I look at this is prayer is one's conversation to God, or to the universe, or to the divine, or to light, or to Allah. It is the conversation to, prayer to. Meditation is the clearing of the thoughts. We have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Remember that 60 to 70,000 thoughts, which are cars on the highway of your mind. On the highway of your mind, when you meditate, you clear the highway. So meditation is clearing, which then gives you room to then think about how's life been going? How have I been reacting? How have I been doing this? How is that working out? Then prayer gives you power, because what prayer does, it then gives you the idea that whatever you've been thinking about can happen. Whatever you desire is possible. Whatever you need is there. People pray for what they believe actually sometimes is the impossible, because they realize how powerful prayer is. So if you use these two together, meditation and prayer, meditation is just the cleansing of, but there's two types of with multiple types of meditation. We'll talk about two real quick. One where it's just nothing. You clearing the thoughts. All those cars on the highway of your mind, you clear them out. That's one. The other one is like a singular meditation where you're focusing on one thing. You're just focusing on one particular thing. Maybe one thought, maybe one sound. Like I said, I go outside sometimes and listen to birds chirp. Just find one bird and listen to that, or listen to the sound of a lawnmower or the shower, or whatever you want. Or you can focus on a tree and just look at the tree, or pick something just to look at. It's interesting. Whatever you do, that meditation is singular though. What's the purpose of that? It gets into the practice. Remember how you do one thing is how you do everything. Gets you into the practice of being able to singular bring things down here, which is you. You're able to bring it in here. If you start to practice singular meditation. When it's time to just focus on one singular thing being you, you got practice.
Yeah. I tell you too, while you were talking, the cars on the highway. I love that analogy. For some of us, it's 1,000 cars on the highway, but it's the same car. So it's the same thought running through your mind a million times, 60 miles an hour, the same thought.
Yep.
And that's even worse than having a 60,000 different thoughts because you're just plagued by that one thing, and it could be a worry or fear. And so limiting that to where it says, hey, that's just one car. Now there's room for other cars to come on there. Now there's room for other thoughts. Pretty soon that thing that was troubling you might get pushed to the back. It might be hidden by the big rigs that come through, so to speak, as the highway.
Yeah.
Now, one thing too, and this is an example as like taking the walk and finding a place to meditate. The meditation could be simply focusing on something that's positive. So it could be like that tree. Maybe you think about the tree and say, man, I wonder how long this tree's been there. Wonder what it took for it to grow. Then as your mind wanders, it starts to go and say, hey, wow, this tree, it could have been 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
This tree could have been here when the Civil War happened for us in the United States.
Right.
Wow, somebody could have leaned up against this tree, dodging bullets as they're getting shot at by the Confederates or whatever. Like, I live in South Carolina, so they definitely were fighting in this area. And that tree I'm leaning against could have caught somebody. It could have been their resting place. They could have sat there and died out right there at that tree. All the possibilities that could have happened with that tree. It could have had a tree right next to it that got chopped down to build Abraham Lincoln's house or something. Like, who knows, right? But your mind can run, and as it's going through those thoughts, guess what? It's not thinking about the tragedy or the hecticness of life or I got to be at work. You focus on something that kind of brought you into a place of peace. And meditation is just that surrendering. It's that humility. It's that becoming just empty and that open. When you're empty, you're open.
Yep.
And so as you empty out these negative thoughts and this negative energy or these things that's weighing you down,
you're open.
You can start to breathe again. And as you start to breathe again, then you might go into a place of prayer and say, you know what? I'm not really troubled by these things. I just want something different. This thing isn't bothering me so much. I just want it to be different. My relationship isn't the end of the world. I just want it to be different. So how do I create difference? Right? How do I create difference? So we got things going on now that wasn't there before, because before it was, I can't stand them. I hate this situation. I can't take anymore. No. We shifted it around.
Yeah.
So we need that space to do those things. And so taking a walk is great in that time frame. No distractions. Eliminate the distractions. No headphones, music. I used to even walk around and listen to different things that I thought was empowering my mind. Right, listening to something, read a book to them or something. Just and I didn't need that. I needed that space to clean my mind, to clear those thoughts, to allow for new stuff to come in. Then come in and listen to the podcast or whatever while I'm doing some work on the computer or surfing the web.
Right.
That's a great way to multitask. But anyways, so that's a great point there. Prayer, meditation, you got to do it, and you got to know how to do it. Just clearing your mind, getting their thoughts.
There's power. There's power though. In when I talk about this prayer for a second, there's power in prayer because there's power in words. So there's like whether you're spiritual or you're just a practicalist, whatever it is. When you write down, we have a vision board, as you have a vision for the future. So it's like you're visioneering. So that's the same as if you're praying about something that you desire. It's a different method. But the power is in the praying because there's energy in it. Now, 21st century, we're learning more about energy, and it's like, okay, 20th century, been a weirdo talking about it, but it's a thing, okay? It's a thing, and it controls everything.
Yeah.
The thing you don't see controls everything, but you contribute to the thing that's controlling everything. So whatever you have control of, you should take control of. You see? Prayer has the power to move you in the direction that you want to go. So words have the power to move you in the direction where you want to go. As a matter of fact, I just read or heard yesterday, Monday, what's today? Wednesday? So a couple of days ago, that when you speak something, it's 10 times more likely to happen. If you speak something, it's scientifically proven it's 10 times more likely to happen. Unfortunately, If it's negative, it's 4 times more likely to happen. That's how the brain works. But if you speak it, it's 10 times more likely to happen. It's not like some magical thing. It just means the probability is now increased because of the energy that you have now put up. So now, think about the person you want to be. Pray about the things that you want to see. And that's how you may come to be.
Yeah. Wow. And prayer isn't about complaining, right? Let's say you're a religious person and you're like, praying, God, you know, take this situation out. I will hope my boss gets fired so I can have a better boss. Or like, that's not the way you should do things, right? You should always be in a thankful, grateful attitude. Remember, attitude, gratitude is altitude.
Yeah.
It's how we excel and go higher. And a lot of folks pray up. I don't know why they pray up, but they pray up. But that's because you're trying to cause your thoughts and things to elevate and raise.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, the power of like, if we think about something that we can recognize as powerful, right? Electricity comes to mind. We think about power, right? Power your house. You see thunderstorms and lightning in the sky. You see the power of that. Well, your brain is firing electricity constantly. Every time you have a thought, wow, there's electricity in your brain, lightning popping off. And when you take that thought and you convert it to say, now I want you to even produce more energy to make these muscles pull and move, and the larynx and all these things to tighten up, come to a same point to produce that breath, that wind, the lungs let out to say the words you say. It's channeling energy to one single direction. That's why it's 10 times more likely to come into effect. And you heard it now. Now your brain has to process that power, and all that power is getting in there. And the more you say, I am smart, I am kind, I am important. Remember that off of the help.
Yeah.
You're smart, you're kind, you're important. I'm smart, kind. It's a thing in your head. It's like a song that says, you can win, you can win, you can win. You walking around, all I do is win, win. And you're like, I'm a winner. And you plan to win.
Yeah.
And so if you your mind
is now, see how we started dancing?
Yeah.
Real.
It will move you, and it will move your body, move your spirit, you move your mind into that same positive posture. And that's about getting in alignment with yourself and getting in alignment with things. So, that's really key. Saying things to yourself out loud, putting things out into the atmosphere that are positive. My relationship is going to change. It's going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding on to that now. That's what I'm grabbing in my hand. I'm not grabbing a stick or a club to beat the relationship to death. It's going to get better. Hey, we have an argument. Wait a second. I can recognize now this isn't making it better. Let me stop right here, because I said it's going to get better. The contribution I'm making, or even that the other person's making, isn't going to make it better. So, hey, can we just table this? Maybe we'll talk about it later. Let's keep the negative out, leaving room for that positive to grow.
Yeah.
Your mind will change because you're only seeing that it's going to win, it's going to succeed, it's going to do these things. And I never started a business, just really quickly, thinking, this might not work. In my mind, I was totally convinced, like, I'm going to be rich. This is about to blow up. I'm about to go. Like, that's how I felt, right? This is the thing. And every step of the way, I'm thinking that. And even when something comes along, the obstacle, I'm like, okay, I didn't see this obstacle here, but it ain't going to stop me. What's the fix? Okay, that's the fix. Let's go. Run it. Let's go. And I just kept going and kept running. Even when things got tough, I'm like, okay, I know things are tough right now, but this is my winner right here. So this has got to just be like a temporary thing. I'm just going to make sure that I do something different and keep it moving. And so I've had to work businesses 8 years before I really start seeing that kickback where I'm like, I can just let this go and let's go run on its own. It took some time, but every day I thought I'm going to win. And true story, me and my wife the other day were driving and she was like, you are cocky. Like, that's how she talked to me in the car. And I was like, why you say that? She was like, I mean, you just confident, ain't you? She was like, I'm scared of you. Like, it was a joke type of thing. And I said, yeah, I guess I am. I said, I go pursue things because I hardly ever lose. I really do always win a lot of times, because even in my failures, I don't see them as failures. I see them as just a stepping stone to get better or to grow. So the loss is never processed in my mind. And in the end of things, my measurement of that is I succeeded. Even if I only made $100 on that thing, started with $2.
Right.
So it didn't make me millions, but I came off with $100. And a lot of folks are trading coins and stuff right now, and they're like, Bitcoin is down to 30,000. I'm like, I'm still up $2,000. Like, whatever. I still did not lose. I might have had 10, and 8 was gone, but I never realized that it wasn't in my hand. I put $100 in, I got $2,000. Like, you got to count those wins and
Yeah,
you got to count the losses, man. So anyway,
real.
change your mind state. So we're talking about introspection. I think we're almost done with our list. Quickly, real quick, I want to just remind folks to share this out, man. Continue to share. Continue to go back and watch our previous shows, man. We had so many great guests on here. Last week we had we did a show about what was last week's title? Do you remember? It was a good show. People were coming back after the show just talking about how good the show was and how much they enjoyed it.
Danny Omar last week?
No, last week was when we talked about we did the steps to it was like the 7 points. Man, I wish I could remember because we do so many of these things, right?
I know. Was it solo? We had a guest?
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I know. That's good.
Self-aware. Last week was self-aware.
Oh yeah.
We talked about looking at yourself, the thought process, becoming self-aware, becoming self-knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great show. So, all these shows tie in. So go back and check those shows out. Yep. Continue to share these things, guys. And we're going to give our larynxes and voice boxes a quick break. We're going to take a quick second. But in the meantime, guys, while we're down, look over your notes. If you're not taking notes, it's a great one to take notes on. Share this link out and let people know, hey, we're talking about the power of introspection, giving you something for your midweek, midday motivation every Wednesday at 1. Stay tuned. Folks. Yes, man. So, hey, thank you, Darlene, for sharing that. Me, myself, and I was last week, and the title was "Me, Myself, and I: The Perfect Partnership or the Perfect Storm."
Yeah,
that was really good, and thank you for tuning in every week, and definitely appreciate that. Today, we're talking about the power of introspection. Rob just notified me during the break that he is on battery power, and it is going to terminate here pretty soon. So, we might have to cut the show a little short, a little under our normal hour. We're about 45 minutes in. But, man, before we close out, Rob, you want to say anything to the people about the power of introspection? And
let me tell you, it will change your life. It changed my life. It changes lives.
Yeah.
But when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And sometimes the way you've been looking at yourself is the reason why life is strange. And if you change the way you look at things, then you can rearrange. But basically, what it boils down to, you can think about what you're thinking about. Because sometimes it's the stinking thinking that leads us all about. you think about the stinking thinking that we have on a regular basis. And if you're not aware of the stinking thinking, wonder why your life is so funky. I ain't talking about the 70s. Okay. Not that kind of funk. I'm talking about life, it just stinks. And so if your life stinks, it may be because of the stinking thinking from you. You may want to blame your spouse, your kids, your work, the Rona. Look at you. Take a look at yourself. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. And the choir goes, oh yeah.
Yeah. I knew you was going there. Yeah, absolutely.
You got to.
You got to. And so the true power of introspection is that most of the things that are going wrong in your life, I'm not saying everything, but most things, they're starting with you, right? They're starting with the way you are inside and it's coming on the outside. It's your perspective. It's your reaction. It's something in that space, right? The way you're talking it, the way you're addressing it. And so if we change that me, then we can change the we. If If we turn that upside down, we can add to ourselves. And that's what we should be about, is adding, right? Adding, that we can have more to redistribute, to grow.
Yeah.
You plant one seed, it becomes a tree. The tree produces fruit. Inside each fruit is a bunch of seeds.
Come on.
It's more for you to share.
Come
And
on.
then you sow those seeds, and that's how it should be. But you got to be careful that you're not sowing that bad fruit, because that's just poisoning your surroundings, is poisoning those around you. So introspection says, let me shift this. Let me get this under wraps. Let me get this in hand, so to speak, that I can now control that. I said something really good yesterday. I was me and Robert talking. Let me see if I can try to find this little quick quote I said. It was on the fly. I said, taking ownership of what we say, right? It's so what is mine remains, and what is, oh yeah. So we separate things. We say, this is mine. I own this. I own my own thoughts. I own my own speech. We shouldn't say I'm broke, I'm tired, I'm trying, I'm working. We should say I'm whole, I'm strong and energized. I have life, and I am perfect. What I have with, I am perfecting what I have already. I'm adding to what is mine. I am growing, and my territory is being enlarged. I'm not working on anything. I already have some things. I'm just expanding those things. I'm growing. I'm the work is finished. I'm receiving the blessings that are already prepared for me. And so I'm just receiving these things. Life is happening for me, not like it's happening to me, like it's a problem or it's a curse and it's beating me up. It's happening for me. It's developing for me. Those of you who have children, they're not a burden. That's a blessing, because now you get to go on, and you have a place that you can just pour your, it's like a jar that just, you can dump all of you in there, hopefully the good parts, and that lives on. And you can see yourself. I know I watch my kids walking around, I'm like, that's me. That's so me. Hopefully sometimes that's good. A lot of times it's like, dang, I need to fix that because they're doing that now, and I need to not do that because I don't like that.
If it's bad, I say that's their mom, just
yeah, right.
Push it up,
the elbow. But we should take more thought and be ready to own what we put out. And I think that's a big, huge part of introspection is if we take, if we're not owning it, because we're not even recognizing it's me. Oh, this is all me here. No, we're not doing that.
Right.
We're like, that's you. You're the problem. You said this, or it's my job, or it's this busted car, or it's, I don't have any money, and money's the problem. Money is not the problem. Money just is there. It just exists as a tool. It's not logical. It has no sentient. It's not sentient. We are. It's a tool for us to control it. Our minds are more powerful than that money. You're more powerful than a lot of things around you. Somebody had told me that they were sick. They were having a disease. And I said, well, wait a second. They had cancer, they said. I said, well, that cancer needs your body, but your body doesn't need that cancer. That cancer is trying to take your life so that it can live. Doesn't even know that if it kills you, it dies. That's how stupid it is. You're stronger. You're better. You're more than that cancer. Your body is greater. You're so much greater than that disease. So it doesn't have any power over you. It's trying to steal from you and thrive off you. See it, remove it, believe it. You have that power. I believe your mind has the power to tell that cancer to shrivel up and die. They're wanting it to just become dormant or not, be a negative impact, but it can still have room in them. No, it can't have any room in you. It's got to go. It doesn't belong there. It's hijacking that space. You own it. You're the landlord. They're their tenant. They ain't paying no bills. They got to go.
Right.
If you think about things in a different perspective, I think you can align your mind, body, heart, and spirit and the energy. If it's just relying on chemicals, your brain can create a chemical. It says that thing has to die. The doctor says, I don't know how this thing is dying, because my brain is more powerful than that. Everything you see on this planet, we created from something else. Think about your cell phone. It came from different things that's in the dirt. Somebody dug up and was like, all I see is dirt. Somebody said, I see something else. I see a cell phone in that dirt. 90% of your screen is sand. Gold is in there making the components work. The metals came out of the ground. All these things came from the earth. The same ground you walking on, dumping trash on it. You know what I mean? Like, that's your phone. That's your TV screen. That's your car. That's how powerful the mind is. Turning people into cyborgs and, all kinds of stuff, man. We're 100 years away from living forever if something else don't change things, because of the type of science we have. We can clone your organs and make new hearts and put computer parts in place of your regular body parts.
So if we was on a different platform, I would continue this conversation and say you can actually cut that in half. But that's for another discussion.
But just to show you the power of the mind. So take ownership of things.
Yeah.
Take
True.
ownership of your actions, ownership of things that's happening to you. Say, this is my body. I own it. Cancer don't own it. Sickness don't own it. COVID don't own it. You don't own me. I
Yeah.
own me.
Yeah.
This is me. That I got this. This, you know, people say this is all me over here. Take it with authority. Because somebody come to your door, try to come in, you're like, no, this is all me. You got to back up. And you're going to do everything you can to stop that person from coming in. But we
Right.
don't fight that hard against COVID. We just, oh, well, I might be sick or cancer or whatever else, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Take ownership of those things. Take ownership of your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit. Prayer, meditation, seeking peaceful moments. Take that walk. What else did we say? Journal. Uh, what other things was on the list?
What was it? Journaling.
Yeah. Places of pieces, taking a shower, watching the stars, watching the sunset.
Watching stargazing, listen to music. That music in your ears. Get that music in your ears. Lay with it or walk with it. Using those positive words and phrases.
Yeah.
Super, super important. Get those positive words and phrases.
Positive reinforcement for yourself.
I,
I sat in my car just yesterday. I had to wait for some food to get done.
and before I get booted out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting your butt.
Okay, so we'll see you guys next week. And thank you all for watching. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Our guest might be feeling better. She was a little sick, so maybe she'll be on.
Yeah, Robina.
Yeah, Robina. Man, that's going to be a great thing. Mastering your purpose. Doing some awesome things with her. So, yeah, tune in next week. And, yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you guys up next week for your midweek motivation. Wednesdays at what time? 1 o'clock.
Said Freddie Grow.
Get in.